Alabama. Well, there's a proposal this week, an open letter that Jim Harbaugh, the Michigan coach, wrote to college football, he said in general. And maybe the two main points were, one, that players should be eligible at any point in their college career for the NFL draft. And if they don't get drafted, they should be allowed to come back and play college football without any penalty. Urban Meyer, you read the proposal. Your thoughts in general just about the ideas?
Well, as much as I sometimes get challenged on whether to agree with Coach Harbaugh or not, I thought it was a great letter. I thought there are some great points into it. There's actually a group of coaches that have been having conversation about keep pro, keep college, eliminate anytime a player wants to go test the markets and wants to go become a professional athlete, go do it. You know, Zeke Elliott was an unknown. Zeke Elliott was unknown until he put his foot in his ground and he ran 85 yards against Alabama. His value went from 0 to astronomical. He should be allowed to go to the NFL right after that. He should. The thing that we'll talk about here in a little bit is this name and likeness is how's this really going to work? Because you're trying to take a square peg in a round hole, amateur and pro. If an athlete wants to go pro, go pro.
Yeah, Coach, I absolutely agree with you. And I think what's interesting here is that we're allowing the NFL to sit back there and dictate all the rules, and then college football is the one that's left with the mess, and they're trying to clean everything up. Let's be very clear. The reason kids cannot go to the NFL is because of an NFL rule that deems that they're not eligible until 3 years after their high school graduation. Okay, so that's an NFL deal, and then college is left with the mess. So everyone that says, hey, college is the one holding these guys down, it's the NCAA, it's not necessarily the NCAA, it's the NFL. And I think that's what Jim Harbaugh is trying to bring to light. I'm a proponent of everything that he talked about because it reminds me, Coach, and you and I both experienced this being baseball players, of the Major League Baseball draft. You see, in baseball, what happens is that everybody is eligible to be drafted unless you're at a 4-year institution. So you could be a high school graduate, a junior college player, or after your 3rd year at a 4-year institution, and you're eligible to be drafted. And then that entity, the Major League Baseball team, has to deem whether you're able to help them, number one, and number two, if you're signable. So the onus is put back on the MLB organization. That's where I think that the onus should be on in football as well. The NFL needs to step up and take some responsibility of this issue. And if they were able to do that, it could get cleaned up for everybody.
The one thing, Curt, that real quick, I'm sorry, is that make no doubt about it, there'll be plenty of players, student athletes get hurt and hurt badly from this. I mean, I know everybody wants to go pro in it. The reality is the NFL is very, very, very hard. And what's going to happen is guys are going to get agents. They're going to get those third uncles. They're going to say, go to the NFL. I've dealt with it at least 100 times. And they don't get drafted, and they gave away a free education. Now, Jim Harbaugh is saying back, I said they should be able to, if they go 1 year, they get 1 year. They go 2 years. I thought that was pretty well thought out.
Yeah.
Last thing he said that I thought it's tricky now if you say they're allowed to come back if they don't go in the top 224, which I think that's pretty appealing. However, how does a college coach manage his numbers now?
That's right.
And his answer was eliminate the 25 hard rule.
That's right.
Which is the initial. So it's a very well thought out letter. I think athletes, if they want to go pro, go pro.
Joel, you've been talking to college coaches and ADs around the country as we go through this unusual spring. Anything jump out at you from your conversations?
Yeah, I think two things, Curt. And the first being, overwhelmingly, all of them not only hope, but believe that we will have a college football season of some sort. And they do believe that fans will be in the stands to some capacity. They're not saying we hope. They're saying we believe that's going to happen. That's number one. And number two, they're desperate to get their kids back onto campus. These football players, many of them, are at home in places that are not very good for them, okay? The fact remains is that these institutions, these programs can care for these kids nutritionally, structurally, mental health, doctors, testing, everything, nutrition training, better on campus than they can at home. So they're desperate to get these kids back to care for them with the best possible care.
Coach?
I agree, and I've had many, many conversations. There will be football. And there's certain areas of the country that have not been impacted by the C virus, and so they will play football. I've talked to enough people that they're adamant that this will happen. If that's what that's going to look like, to be determined. But they'll be playing football this fall.
Well,
I really believe that.
Off to God's ears, as long as we do it all safely, I think everybody will be in favor of that.
For the best access, perspective, and personalities in all of sports, follow us at Fox Sports on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoy that clip, make sure you click subscribe somewhere down here. From game highlights to exclusive interviews and rankings, we've got everything you need as a college football fan right here, College Football on Fox.